So today I have the opportunity, it's going to be super fun to talk to Janine Cascio. She's an entrepreneur, she's a leader, author, I believe, too. And
Appearing to be.
okay, I love it. I love it. So she owns Simple Lending Financial and I believe another business too. So welcome, Janine. How are you today?
Good, good. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you. This is going to be great. We spent a little time together before this, and I can't wait to ask you some questions because you've done a lot in what I would consider a very short amount of time. So tell me about you. How'd you get started in this business, and give me a little bit of your journey, please.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm originally from New York. I have an accounting degree background from Philadelphia University. I got, hired for a family fund out of Great Neck, Long Island. And I worked with them for a few years, and two of the business partners actually had kind of like a falling out and went separate ways. And then I kind of went off to a new company that was Real Quick Capital at the time, and I kind of helped him start the company from the ground up. And unfortunately, that business didn't really sustain. And then when I relocated in Houston, is when I had the idea of, hey, like, let me just give this a go 100% on my own and start my company from the ground up. I already had like some of the expertise of, starting it with my prior partner. But unfortunately that didn't work out. But now that I'm on my own and created Simple Lending Financial, which is a little bit over 2 years now, it's been nothing but great and we're growing every month. So it's really exciting journey to be on.
Wow. So that's pretty crazy though too. So you got some paid education, which is cool, right? You got to actually learn and then you started this company. How do you how do you decide to take that leap? Because to me it seems pretty intimidating to say I'm going to start a lending institution.
Yeah, for sure. It is hard. And, I had a lot of like these internal struggles, especially being a woman in a male dominated industry. And I kind of like just had this realization of like this switch of mindset that really came to me that was like, if I'm going through struggles like this, like, why not me be someone of empowerment for others? So I kind of changed like this egoic mind of like focusing on myself and really expanding that to focusing on just, be out there, being an example for others. Like I felt like I didn't have a lot of women to look up to as a mentor in this space, doing their own thing, being CEOs of companies and things like that. And I was struggling internally. So it's like, if I was struggling and I had a few years under my belt, I was, partners with someone doing their own company. Like if I was struggling, I knew others were struggling. So
Yeah.
as soon as I switched that mindset, it wasn't really for me anymore. It wasn't for me of like, going off doing like, it was for the greater community and helping others and empowering women in the space and creating jobs. And it just became a big mission and powerful moment for me. So I've just been on that journey since.
Wow. So so I love that. The whole idea of mindset is such a important critical thing. How did you get well, no, I want to capture something you said because I think it's really good. You made it not about you made it about others, and that gave you the motivation and the power to actually move forward. Can you talk just a little bit more about that? Because I think that's just brilliant. So
Yeah, for sure. I think when you come from like a serving mentality of like, how can I provide value? Not only to my customers, but to my employees that have a desire to really help them on their self-growth and on their journey. So, when the attention's not on me, it kind of removes those, can I do this? Can I I'm just out here doing my thing, giving the value to my clients. A lot of my business is that repeat business. So making sure they're happy, making sure they're succeeding through their fix and flips that they're doing, through their investment properties that they're doing. And I'm just a tool to help them. So as long as they're succeeding, it comes back to me. So it's really just a change of that mindset. It removes that pressure off of you of like, fighting those internal beliefs of, can I do this? Like, I really encourage people to just, have fun and try and like spiritually just do right by people and give value and also help those around you. And then it just comes back.
That's awesome. And I think that's also, I'm guessing that's also why you started an organization, correct? Young Lenders Organization. Tell me about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I am the founder of Young Private Lenders Organization. And it was really just something that, I wanted to inspire other young entrepreneurs that, you don't need to be someone of, so much expertise. Like there's something beautiful about, stepping into the unknown, knowing that you don't know everything, but learning as you go. Because I think a lot of people are always like, I want to take the jump, but I just don't know this part or that part. It's like, just enjoy the process of learning as you go along. So I'm really hoping that this organization can help foster that community around people just being inspired and bouncing ideas off of other young entrepreneurs, and know that, you're not alone. I'm constantly get into positions where I'm scared, but, I think one of my favorite quotes is that everyone gets scared. There's just people that will do it anyway.
Yeah, breaking through. It's funny how when you start talking to people, we're all struggling with the same things. None of us have ever really arrived, I don't think. I think very few people don't suffer from imposter syndrome at some point as well.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely think there is points of that. And it's just like these tools and these little tricks that we could utilize when we do feel that way. That kind of, helps navigate that for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so you started this business. You moved to Houston. You started this business. What was the biggest kind of first challenge that you hit, that you broke through?
Yeah, I think it's just, finding the right people for your company and for your bus is like the number one. So I think like once I started hiring and scaling, you can kind of see how a wrong hire can really just slow down your growth, and B, can really affect your culture. So learning how to navigate that and stepping into that leadership role and making decisions for the overall health of the company, finding the right people, just navigating that space in general was just something I don't know if I was like ready for, but I'm learning very quickly to kind of have my, follow my intuition and ask these important proactive questions to find out, if they are a true fit for the culture and the company. And I think now that we're, 2+ years in, I'm kind of really narrowed down our culture. And now I could like kind of like in an instant be like, okay, they're a good fit or not. So it's just trusting your intuition.
So I love that. So talk to me about culture, because I think it's something that people talk a lot about and around, but being intentional about your culture is so important for an organization, and identifying your deal busters and what you stand for and who you are. Because obviously you as a person have a culture, you're very service focused. You want to give customers a good experience. You care about people, but how do you put that into words? How do you translate it? And how do you make sure you have the right people?
Yeah, for sure. So coming up with your mission statements and your values and being very clear on that. And like you said, like, I'm going to lead by example and show them how I speak to clients and like how I communicate. And, I can only, voice that so much and like show them the mission and values, and that like if they come across too like egoic or not talking to clients correctly on the phone and I'm overhearing conversations, I'll snip that real quick, just because it's not what we stand for, right? We pride ourselves on customer obsession. Like, client's always right. We want to make sure that everyone's leaving with a positive mindset, feeling within doing business with us, because people aren't going to remember like what you said, but people are going to remember how you made them feel. And I stand by that truly. So if I, see someone in my office kind of not communicating properly with clients on the phone, or going into arguments or raising their voice, like that is not what we stand for. So those are easy, snips right there to know if it's not our value.
I love it. So when do you make the tough decision to move somebody out of the organization?
Yeah, it's I feel like if I know right away, then it's kind of like a conversation is going to be had. But I'm a very big with like just self-development as well. So I do really look at people's potential and try and pull out of them the best possible, because I do think your employees and your team is a big reflection of you. So it's strong for me to, like, if I have someone on board, it's because they have a growth mindset, they're willing to work on themselves, they're willing to go through that journey. But if I do feel like they're like enclosed, like I will make that decision right away. And then if anything, it was a bad hire on my part. But unfortunately, I've only had to do that maybe twice. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the thing that I find with businesses that are starting, especially in their first formative year or two, like, when should I hire my first person? Because there's a big risk there, because you're gonna invest money in them, or it's going to cost you money basically. So when do I hire them? And then when do I decide I got to pull the plug? And I feel like people don't do that fast enough, but I'd love to hear your experience on those.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it's very easy because, like, if it's a sales position, you're banking on that person, bringing in the revenue. So I usually give people like a 90-day window. But if I have, like, say, it's a 50K salary, if I have, 1/3 of that salary ready to go, I'm investing. I'm all for growth. I'm all for investing in the next person, in the next growth role, and to just give them at least those 3 months to perform. I would say even maybe 90 to 120 days is a good window to see something come from that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And sales is sales, right? But sales is not so hard. And you got to learn product. You got to learn what makes you different. So tell me about your company. Like, what is different about your company? What makes you all unique?
Yeah, so we are a nationwide lender. There's some hard money lenders that just do bridge loans, but we have an array of products. So we do, stabilized bridge loans. We'll do our fix and flips. We'll do our DSCR long-term holds. We'll also do ground up construction, and that is nationwide. We're not just like a local Houston lender. We just, did fund an 8 ground up construction here in Houston, but we'll do that anywhere. We'll do a California loan, a New York loan. So, I do pride ourselves on being woman owned. If you come to my office, there's pink everywhere. I'm always typically in pink as well. So I think that unique branding is a standout for us as well. But yeah, we pride ourselves on customer obsession and making sure the client feels valued and leaves having a good experience. I just feel like a lot of private lenders, there's a lot of feedback from clients that they feel bait and switch. They feel lack of trust and transparency. So those are the values that, especially as a woman, I'm like, you could trust me, like, so it's not like we're another typical hard money lender that's trying to, raise rates or, throw all these hidden fees at you. Like, we give terms up front, and we want to make sure that you know exactly where you're at every step of the way.
That's great. And I feel like, as I read through your website, it seems like you also get a quick turnaround on decisions. Would that be correct?
Yeah. So I have a fund in-house, and we make decisions in-house. The draw process is in-house. So there's always feedback with that too, with some other lenders that, like, draw process could take long, but we have a snap draw process. So when you're requesting those construction budgets, you could have those funds in your account within 24 to 48 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you could just go to your property, take some photos, and then once you send those photos in, we kind of release the funds.
That's amazing. Okay. So what's your business look like when it's finished?
Yeah, we're nowhere near finished. We're just getting started. But yeah, maybe, you know, multiple offices throughout the nation, you know, over 100+ employees, creating some sort of nonprofit around our business that we, you know, every loan that we do benefits from that. Just really centered around making a very positive impact within the nation and within rehabbing homes across the country, enhancing communities around the country, you know, helping charities go and build homes for the homeless and giving back to the community. So really just trying to make as much of a positive impact in the world as we possibly can.
I love that. I love that. And also empowering women.
Yes. And writing my book, putting my book out, and hopefully other women stepping up and taking over.
That's great. That's great. So if you're building your team right now, you're looking for leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Leaders, correct?
Yeah. So my chief growth officer comes from that very serving mentality. And I told her, I'm like, there's something I really can't teach, and it's the mindset you have. So I just feel like we're going to be along for the journey together for a long time, just because of how she feels like she's, you know, in a position just to give back and to teach people and to onboard people. So there are a lot of hires within my company right now that I really truly do believe that I have the right people on the bus. So it is exciting.
That's super cool. Yeah, and I feel like today more than ever, when people come on, they expect to have a career path, not just a job.
Mm-hmm.
How do you lay that out for your people now? I mean, first of all, do you agree? Then how do you lay that out for your people now so they can see where you're going long term?
Yeah, for sure. So I do believe that. I think the younger generation more and more wants to be onboarded with a company that has a big impact that they want, or to really have a company that like stands for something. You know, I have a few employees that are, you know, the young 20s, and they're just like happy to work here because, you know, we are unique, we are different, we are woman owned, and they're happy to stand for a company like that within this industry. But yeah, I just talk about our vision often. I talk about, you know, the account managers having people under them and having their own team. I talk about, you know, the lead generation team becoming account managers, and really just the growth that could be had. There's no cap to the growth that we could have here for my employees, and whether they want to become a partner and start, you know, the Miami office. So, you know, I kind of just give them the whole vision of like, there's, you know, so much growth to be had. And they do feel like, I know they speak of that, of like just creating that space for them to move in.
Yeah, that's awesome. People want to see the direction and buy into the bigger vision. So that's super cool. What about what do you see as the biggest upcoming challenge for your business?
Upcoming challenge is probably running out of the space in my current office that we just moved into. But no, upcoming challenge. I just think, you know, I'm a very big opportunity person, so I kind of just not look at the challenges so much. But it's hard for me to navigate that. But yeah, just wanting to, you know, have those big goals, being consistent with those big goals, and just having, you know, that mindset of every day is a new day, right? Of, you know, you still got to do your sales march of what we put in every day. It is sales, and you know, you got to stay consistent and persistent. So just staying on top of that.
Okay. I like that she said, I don't really look at the negatives. Do you think that's necessary for entrepreneur?
I just feel like when, you know, obstacles come up, if you like kind of stay stuck there and focus there, your energy goes where your focus goes. So I like to focus on growth. I like to focus on abundance and opportunity and what we can create. Of course, the obstacles that come up, like we'll face that, but like it's usually like a quick decision and it's the first thing I get to. I don't let them like dwindle or be stuck on them or put my focus there at all. So yeah, I try not to think of anything as obstacles, right? Because it's all about mindset as we keep going back to. And it's like, what labels something good or bad? Some people could have said like this past year, the market's tough, with the election, with the rates going up. My perspective doesn't perceive it that way because, my company has been growing every month. There is nothing, I've just been focusing on the growth we're having. So my mindset is always going to what's working.
I love that. Yeah. Well, we all know it's like if you're driving a car and you look over to the right at the trouble on the right, you're going to steer to the right. Right. So the idea of focusing on the positive, focusing on where you want to go instead of the distractions will actually get you there faster with the least amount of sort of resistance. So that's great. Is there one piece of advice that you would give somebody that's starting, like say you're a young entrepreneurs young lenders group? Is there one piece of advice or any entrepreneur starting out that you would say, hey, look, do this, don't do this, or watch out for this?
Yeah, I would just say that, like we've mentioned in this podcast, of like just like focusing on what's working, focusing on the opportunity and the abundance, and to know that the obstacles are just illusions per se. Like, it's sometimes you can look at a ladder and figure out how you're going to climb up it, and all you have to really do is go around it. So looking at those other ways, rather than seeing everything as an obstacle or seeing everything as a big challenge, kind of just working on your mindset to know that there are other ways. Not everything is a big challenge, not everything's big obstacle, and to know that persistence and consistency will always lead to success with a strong desire.
I love that. You are definitely a mindset person, and I think so. I can tell. It
goes back to the mindset whenever I do podcasts. So sorry that we keep looping to the same thing, but that's all I have to say is that if you develop your mindset, you're going to be successful because you just have to persevere, and there's no failure unless you accept failure. So just don't accept the failure.
Well, you got the right attitude, and clearly and I like that you're even month over month growth. You're not even talking year over year. Like we're going to grow this company every month consistently, persistently. That is awesome. Do you have something that you normally read or do, or like do you have a habit or something that you do every day to get your mindset right?
Yeah, I am a big yogi. I like yoga, I like meditation, I like journaling, I like reading. I read a lot on mindset. So, like Bob Proctor, things like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, a lot of those mindset books I will always turn to. And like, if I need, a piece of advice, I'll turn to that. But my yoga for me is like the obstacles of like going through the challenges on my yoga mat, so that when challenges then come at me later in the day, I've already I already surpassed challenges on my mat. So when it comes to life, like when something comes at me, I don't really see it as much of a challenge if I wasn't preparing for it.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. So that's your thing every day. Do some yoga, overcome challenges immediately, get your mind in the right place.
Yeah. An ice bath is good too. Ooh. Have you done an ice bath before?
No, I have not.
3 minutes in an ice bath. If you could do that in the morning, it also is dopamine, like 8 hours of dopamine. They say it lasts twice as long as having a cup of coffee in the morning. So it'll raise your levels, but as well as that's a challenge. So if you're overcoming that in the morning, you can overcome anything else that comes at you. Trust me.
Well, you're definitely going to be awake.
Yeah.
After an ice bath. That's exactly. You do yoga, then ice bath?
I don't do it every morning, but if I really need it, I'll dive in that ice bath. But typically, yeah, yoga, meditation, some reading. So it's usually like an hour and a half that I do self-care in the morning prior to getting to the office.
So that's really cool. I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people think that they have to just work, and that will give them the most productivity. But in your case, you're like, I'm going to invest in myself first.
Oh yeah. My self-care is number one. Number one. And I'm a firm believer that, it is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. So I think, it's all about well-being and the energy you're bringing in to the office for those moments. Giving to myself prior to overworking or staying up late at night working, then sleeping for a short amount of time and then going back to work, like that will lead to burnout, which will essentially cost you a few days if not more anyway. So just avoid burnout, sustain the energy, protect your well-being, and you've got to be on top mindset with clarity anytime decisions come up. So it's very important to be on your peak of your energy at all times. So you got to give to yourself.
That's great. And as a leader, coming in with the right attitude, positivity, energy is critical, and then blowing through obstacles and looking past the obstacles to seeing what's on the other side is so critical. And your team has to feed off that. And I think they need to see that demonstrated versus just talked about.
Yeah. I'm a big person with, positive energy reaps positive results. So, but like I said, one bad egg can affect those around you. One good egg can really lift those around you as well. So it's important to come into the office and, no matter what's going on within your personal life, that once you guys, walk into the office space, it's, whatever you got going on at home is left there, and we're here now, we're focused on the now. And, things are up and down, especially in sales. But it's like, we also have a 24-hour rule within our office of, a bad deal happens, you got 24 hours to, talk about it. You could cry about it. You could go take a break if you need to. But after those 24 hours, like, we don't talk about it. We're here, we're now, we're in the present moment, we've moved on. Same with a big win. Our account manager that just closed on those 8 townhomes, it's a $3 million deal. You could bask in that. I'll give you the day. Congratulations. But guess what? Tomorrow it's a new day. So we're back at it. So staying in that level space, that you don't get too egoic, and you don't get too down, and you just stay level and just humble and have that humility as a employee and as a leader. It's the place to be.
Man, that's great. 24 hours. I like that. That's a great rule. And for both sides too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrate the win, but then, okay, now we got to get back at it. Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Janine, I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is really good. I've learned a lot from you, and I'm thankful for you. And so so it's Simple Lending Financial.
Yes, we are big on social media. My marketing, I sometimes drive Lauren, my marketing girl, crazy, but I'm a big social media person. So you will find us everywhere, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all of the social media platforms, Simple Lending Financial.
Awesome. Well, Janine, it's been a pleasure, and I wish you nothing but the best. Can't wait to see your company.
You as well. Thank you.
Cheers. See ya.